Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Hillbilly Rocket Science. I want to show you a little bit today about grip and how much it can influence your shot and you not even realize it. Everybody knows not to grab their bow, not to squeeze it. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you what that does real quick. With an arrow in, I'm going to set my grip in here. I'm going to wrap my fingers all the way around and I'm just going to give this bow a light squeeze and watch the tip of the arrow what it does. Now, take a look at my hand here. I'm gonna barely move it over to the left just a little bit. So my fingers are just wrapped a little bit more around, got a little bit less on the back of my grip, and then the arrow now goes the opposite way. So barely moving my hand is enough to completely change which way that bow torques when you draw it back. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the back of the grip here. If you've got, I call it 2 points of contact. It's actually more than that, but if your top of your palm is on and the bottom is on at the same time, that bow is stuck to your hand. Whichever way you move, it's going to go with it. Okay. Now, some people rock their hand up in there, which gives you a little bit less contact, but ideally that's not exactly what you want. Once you're obviously not going to move anything like this while you're shooting, but any little movement you do have while you're shooting is going to be amplified. So what I'm going to show you, that's fingers wrapped around. We're going to take this hand. I want you to make a V just like this. You guys have probably seen this many times over with other archers and teachers and giving lessons. You're going to set it right in there. That V right in there. Keep that V. And with that being said, you're going to set your thumb in and just curl your fingers in. Don't twist to the grip. You can see my hand turn into there. And just set your fingers in. Okay? You can see that one finger, almost two, comes right to the front. You can also see there's a nice little 45-degree here with your knuckles. Now, I promise you, it's not going to be very comfortable the first few times you do it. But once you get that hand turned to where it's pretty easy to move that bow to turned, now you got a pivot point in your bow, and it doesn't move near as easy. Now, obviously, you're not going to do this, but it just takes a little bit of that tension off the grip. With one or two fingers on the front of the bow, it's going to be a lot easier to tell your brain that, hey, I got a hold of this. Don't squeeze. And even if you do squeeze on it a little bit, you're pushing straight back into the bow. I'll put an arrow back in here real quick. Now I'm going to squeeze. So you're pushing the bow right back in, even if you accidentally do. And most of us do that when we shoot. There's just a natural habit. You don't realize that you're even doing it. Okay. So the next thing is this grip. Nice loose grip. Nothing to influence your shot. I could go video after video showing you people that most of them, when they shoot, they do this. They grab their bow or there's a little bit of a flinch or something. The bow is probably not going to fly out of your hands, but there's almost always a flinch in your front hand. In slow motion, you'll see the front of the arrow sitting here, and you'll see their fingers start to move as their arrow comes forward. Okay, I'll put some of this stuff out down the road a little bit as I get better at this stuff, but that little bit of movement completely changes the grip of how you're holding that bow in there. Okay, so here's what I want everyone to do. When you're sitting at home watching this, take your hand up, put it in that little V. Okay, squeeze, make a tight grip. That's obviously what we don't want with our grip. Feel that muscle on the inside of your arm. It's nice and tight. Okay, now relax that grip and you'll feel it soften up a little bit. Okay, then I want you to, with this nice soft grip, I want you to feel that outside muscle of your arm and then put your fingers out and you'll feel that muscle tense up out there. So influence on the bow, influence on the bow. But the biggest part of this is as soon as you put your fingers out, there's a tendon that runs across from your thumb to your finger. Okay, if you take your finger and wrap it inside of there, nice loose grip, and just put your fingers out like this a little bit, and you will feel that tendon flex and get solid in there. It's just a lot of movement in your hand that you don't even realize that you do. I film people all the time in slow motion. Grab a buddy, set your phone up, watch yourself shoot. Put it in slow motion to where you can go really slow across it, and you'll see your fingers, not everyone, but a lot of people, you'll see their fingers clench. You can watch right here in the video, and you'll see tendons and stuff kind of pop out. That's a good sign that you're grabbing. So lot of influence in this front hand. A lot of people are just worried about pulling the trigger while you're on the target, but as that goes off all at once and that movement, it's the same as if you're not even aiming at the target, and that's why your groupings open up a little bit. Everybody can have a good day where they're shooting somewhat good, and then you got that random flyer. That grip is probably a little bit of influence on that. So do that little test, feel that in there, see how much of an influence that can make on your grip, and let me know if it helps improve your shot. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.